Good morning, good morning, good morning. What is up, folks? How's everybody doing this morning? JTW here with another Xtrades FOMO live stream Tuesday, March the 25th. Hope you all are doing very well. Let me get all my streaming and all that good stuff set up. What's up, Davey Plum? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. What's up, Outlaw? Good to see you here in the mix. Good morning to those of you joining us on YouTube this morning. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Hopefully we will find some ways to make some money in this market, right? I think everything is starting to show some signs of a turnaround. Kind of a little bit of a... Excuse me. Let me get some more of this coffee in real quick. There we go. Market is trying to make a turnaround here. We've been watching this 5,800 level here on ES as a key resistance, key spot for us to test before we push higher. What's up, Sam? What's up, Unknown Reviews? Good morning to you all as well. Want to take a look at, it's not even called, it's called just strategy now, isn't it? It used to be like MicroStrategy. But MSTR, we can certainly take a look at that. What's up, Outlaw? Good morning to you, buddy. And LB in the chats, bright and early, starting things off with a bang here on the Xtrades FOMO live stream. So, yeah, let's talk about what we're seeing here on the markets in general as folks start to filter in, and then, and then we'll get to some quick trade plan reviews. I did not have time. I had a crazy schedule things going on this weekend, so I knew I wasn't going to have time to do any trade plans, so we don't have any weekend trade plans to review, but that will leave more time for us to do some more live stream plans here this morning, because less time we need to spend reviewing those plans that we didn't do, right? So, yeah, what are we seeing here on ES? We finally got this push that we were looking for to try to get things over 5,800. Not only did we get over, we got a little bit of a back test of support. That's a great look there. It's going to try to push a little bit higher, in my opinion, up here to 58.44. Potential rejection there, and then there's a couple more resistances overhead here on ES that we're going to test as we try to push up toward the 200 SMA. Those being 58.70 and 59.03 here on ES. But as long as we're holding over this 5,800 level, things look good for bullishness and continuing to try to push higher. So market trying to carve out a bottom here to see if we can't get moving back to the upside. Nice move triggered off to that 55.61 level we were watching for downside support. So overall, things look like they're trying to flip to the bullish side. I think a lot of that has to do with Trump kind of saying that he's going to, or willing to be more flexible on tariffs. We'll see how that actually plays out, because I think within the same breath they also announced more tariffs. So yeah, nothing to see here, nothing to be confused by at all, right? But that's par for the course. Anybody who's traded through this administration's first go round knows that you know, this is all pretty standard stuff as far as what it does to the markets and how the markets decide to react, which is kind of just crazy, volatile whipsaw. Still seems like a better market for short-term scalping and day trades. Try to catch those moves intraday. Don't get caught swinging anything overnight, because the markets could make big moves without you based on a tweet or apparently something that goes out in a signal chat. if you're planning a missile strike or something like that. So anyway, things can change quickly and on a dime, being my point. So be very, very careful still, even though things do look like we are trying to poke out and continue up to the upside over that 5,800 key resistance. So that's how things are looking at the markets in general. What's up, Chris? Good morning to you, brother. Hope you are doing well. All right, so let's get into a couple of trade plan recaps. Really, we just have the two that we did on Thursday's live stream, because again, no member selected tickers this weekend. And then after we get through these couple of trade plans, we will get to some new trade plans that we're going to work up live here on the stream this morning. So we've already got MSTR in the mix. Anybody else have a ticker you want me to take a look at? Please feel free to go ahead and drop those in the chat. And we'll try to get through as many of those as we can this morning. So what are we seeing here on Meta? Last Friday, it gave us the break to the upside after we did this live stream plan. We actually did this back here on Thursday. Thursday gave us a quick breakout and run to the upside that was quickly rejected back down. So again, kind of what I was talking about a moment ago, very much a scalper's market. Be very careful swinging anything in this market. But overall, pulled back within our call put entry range, gave us another breakout, a little bit of a back test, dip below the call entry, but Neptune was there to pick it up with that bullish ribbon, and ultimately that gapped up over the weekend. And here we see pre-market tapping PT3, finding some resistance right at our ultimate upside price target. So make sure that you are taking some profit as soon as we hit the open. In fact, I would say take all your profits if you're still swinging any meta contracts on this one. Again, let's not be greedy. This market could turn around and dump on a tweet, which can come out of nowhere at an unplanned time. It takes all of 5 minutes to punch one of those up with your thumbs and fire that off. So be very, very cautious of, again, kind of just sticking in trades for too long, especially once you've hit all your price targets. What more could you ask for? You got everything you wanted out of the trade, or everything you planned to get out of the trade. So as we always say here, plan your trades, trade your plans, stick to the plan. If it says take profits and take all your profits, go ahead and take them. If you want to leave a runner, please feel free to do so, but just make sure that you've got a good stop loss on that runner so you don't let a green trade go red. All right, and then last but not least for this morning's trade plan reviews, BlackRock. This one gave us a break to the downside after we did the plan on Thursday. I'm sorry, well, we did the plan back here on Thursday. Friday gave us the break to the downside is what I meant to say. Broke down below, but then immediately caught this 200 SMA here on the 15-minute and has kind of ridden it back to the upside, back above the put stop loss, and things are flipping bullish. So if you did get into puts on BlackRock here, I would certainly recommend being smart and paying attention to an ideal spot to try to cut those while still mitigating your losses, because this one looks like it could go flat or could potentially try to make a push to the upside. So certainly with those two kind of being the most likely scenarios, puts is kind of the worst of all options to be in right now. So with that being said, let's get to some new trade plan requests we've got this morning. Chris has been out of the game, no idea. Sure, we can take a look at Hood. Hope you're doing well. And we also see Boeing in here from Tony. How do I set up alerts with the algo? I'm not sure if you're talking about the Xtrades, what's it called? Ultimate algo or premium algo or something like that. I don't know much about that, but I'm sure Chris or one of the other team members could help you with that. So let's get to some of these ticker requests. Let's take a look at MSTR for unknown reviews over on YouTube. So let's go. All right, what's going on with good old strategy, right? Still says MicroStrategy here, but I thought they changed their name to just strategy, didn't they? Oh, Tony, are you talking about the trade plan navigator? Oh, okay. Yeah, here you go. Yep, Chris just gave you the YouTube. That'll tell you exactly how to set those alerts and how to use your chart templates, all that kind of stuff. So should be good to go there. Yeah, we can take a look at Apple. Baba, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, my friend. All right, so let's clean up this MSTR chart and then let's get to some trade planning here. All right. So I've got some what look to be like previous fib extensions on this. They must be very, very previous. It has been a while since I've looked at MicroStrategy. Did I? I didn't keep them. Of course I didn't. That would have been too smart. Okay. We'll make the most of this nonetheless. All right, so let's zoom out here. Just take a look at things from a zoomed out perspective, try to figure out where we've got support and resistance that we'll want to pay attention to, and then we can start to build our trade plan from there. These seem to signify what were some gap levels that have clearly now filled. All right, what are we looking for here on MicroStrategy? Yeah, that's an interesting level we're going to want to pay some attention to. Trying to find a name to short. Well, Baba, you don't have to. I know that it's definitely your MO, but you don't, you can always go long too. It doesn't have to be just names to short. I was trying to tell folks that the other day with, everybody who's stuck doing calls, doesn't know how to do anything but play calls. Just flip your charts, right? Invert your chart, play puts. It's not that hard. And sometimes the market says it's time to put it up. All right. Not seeing really anything else here that's going to be helpful from a weekly perspective. So let's start to dial in some of these daily levels here. Definitely got something to deal with here. Not a support and resistance there yet, but I think there's something up there. Oops, something up there that we're going to want to keep on watch. Let's check this little gap level out real quick. Yeah, that seems to be sitting at an existing support and resistance level. All right, that looks pretty good from a daily perspective. So let's keep on keeping on. This is an interesting, yeah, you know what, actually I think there is a level there. Sorry, I was getting ready to say it's an interesting spot of resistance, but I'm seeing some more than just resistance there. Yeah, not really seeing anything near those big rejections. And honestly, I'm probably digging around in an area that is not going to be all that relevant to a trade plan. So let's go ahead, get to this. What's up, Ryan? Good morning to you. We're currently working on MSTR for unknown reviews. Whoops. Stop grabbing those levels. Okay. So, where do we want to take a shot at this thing? 356 seems like an awfully long ways away, but really does look like there's potential issues until we break over that level. Definitely have a level here I don't have yet. All right. I think what we can do is we can try to get a head start on this over 345.46. over that, I think we can take a shot at this 356, which, again, key resistance there. Was looking at that as a potential call entry, but I think we can get the ball rolling a little bit ahead of schedule on that. Stop loss, I do like it right here at 338.27. PT2. I've got this, what looks like a fib extension here at 370.79, but there is clearly a pretty strong support and resistance level. At least it's been one that MSTR has responded to quite well and quite recently. They're at 367.86. Third price target, I think it could go for a little bit more, but I like going ahead and booking the rest of our profits here at 383.05. Saw a pretty nasty rejection there previously. We fought above it there more recently, but this kind of looks like choppy mess. I'm not really seeing any real clear support and resistance levels being tested up in this range. Maybe something right there actually, but 390.75, but I'm not, again, when in doubt, especially in an extra volatile market where things can turn on a dime, don't get too greedy with your price targets. Go ahead and have a plan to get out. Just keep scaling out early and often as the trade plays out in your favor is kind of my best input I can give you there. All right, so downside does start to look a bit interesting if we can break below this 318.21 level. Stop loss for this, I was looking at it as I was kind of perusing for potential entry levels there at 328.70. Downside targets, there's a little bit of a gap to fill right near this 302.34 level. That gap fills, though, a little bit higher. I don't want to get caught holding for too long. And again, this looks like it's a fib extension. So maybe not the most reliable thing I've ever drawn on a chart. But I do like this as a first price target to the downside here at 305.13. Second target down to 293.41. Third target could actually make a bigger move to the downside here. There's definitely a level there. The question is it the level for a third price target? I could see it being either there at 273.02 or up here at 281.29. So kind of two targets there, actually. I think that we've just got additional support and resistance levels. It's almost like a PT4, if you will, sort of like what we saw to the upside there. But again, I'm going to kind of advise and plan around taking these profits early and often, and not getting stuck holding a trade or being too greedy when, again, the market can do a 180 in the span of a few minutes if the wrong tweet or whatever comes out. So let's stick to these more aggressive scale out targets. So what are we looking for? We're looking for a break over 345.46. That should take us to 356.05, 367.86, and 383.05. Stop loss average down at 338.27 with a put entry at 318.21 and targets at 305.13, 293.41, and 281.29. Stop loss average down at 328.70. Whoa, I screwed something up there. Hang on. Where did I miss a level? 338.27, 3. That looks fine. Did I skip over the put entry or something? 305.13, 293.41, and 281.29. Yeah, I don't know what I did there. I was not typing and moving very fast though. So there we go. And it's not a shared stop loss. So this should give us our what? Oh, yep. Helps if I turn the indicators on. And let's go ahead and hide our drawings just to keep it from being too noisy there. All right. So here is the MSTR live stream plan. And over here in the elite chat. And let me steal this message link. Let's get this set up. 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and save this. I'll rename those later. And let's get our alerts set. Give these a week to play out here. So that'll take us to next Tuesday, the 1st, April Fools. All right, so what are we looking for here on MicroStrategy? Let's talk through this real quick and then we'll get to our next trade plan. We're looking for a break over 345.46 to play for upside targets. That should give us targets at 356.05, 367.86, and 383.05 with a stop loss average down at 338.27. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 318.21. That should give us targets at 305.13, 293.41, and 281.29 with a stop loss average down at 328.70. Those, I should say, are your MSTR live stream plans. Be ready to take it whichever way it goes. So let's get to the next ticker request. I think this one came from the Discord side of things. Chris came in with Hood, so let's take a look at Hood. It's all good in the Hood. Or maybe it's not. It's been a while since I've looked at their chart, so we'll find out in a second if it's all good. All right, get some more of that good coffee in. All right. Hood actually playing out a previous trade plan here. All right. So let's start digging in here. Zoom out real quick. I want to see kind of just big picture. All right. I think we got... actually, I don't know. I don't kind of like that, but I don't love it. If I don't love it, let's not force it. Let me also just really briefly turn off these indicators. Just want to look at price action only. All right. What do we got on Hood? All kinds of weird price action up here is what we got. Although, that is an interesting level right here. 53.36. Could be something there, actually. Kind of put this as a placeholder for now. placeholder that. It's interesting, little level there, but still having a hard time telling what it wants to be, so we'll hold off for now. All right, and where are we currently? Where's our potential breakout? Obviously, I had a placeholder here. I think I was close to something, but not quite on it. Yeah, it needs to be just a little bit higher. $51.15. That's a really interesting support and resistance flip. So far, I like that as an entry. PT1. Stop loss. Where does that need to be, though? Yeah, I think this level's just a little bit off. It needs to sit more like right here, which that'll give us good stop loss there. Second target. Let's take a look at this on the hourly, but I'm kind of liking that 57.96, so it could be a potentially bigger move. Whoops. Over 54.28. As I look at this hourly, changes my mind some. I think we're looking more right here for a PT2 there at 56.06. Then we can use this as our third price target up there to 57.96. So that's the upside sorted, downside. Excuse me. I do like this 46.17 as an entry. I do like I'm a little bit torn on this now. Give me a sec. Let's think about this. Let's not get too greedy. So my question is there a better... First question is, I should say. Yeah, I'm wondering if I need to adjust this stop loss for the put side of things. It's a little bit murky up in this range and not a lot of price history. Boy. All right, let's just make a call and move forward. Got to do that sometimes. You know what? It could be sitting right around... Actually, I see an opportunity here to establish a slightly tighter stop loss now that I've looked at it a little bit more. Elf up or down? I'll try to take a look at that for you, Carolyn. Hope you're doing well. All right, so let's use that as a first price target. Second target's definitely going to land right around here, a little fill in the blanks hourly level. And third target, yeah, I like this. It's right about maybe here. 39.11. Sorry, I'm used to talking about all those 3-digit tickers. This one's not trading at that price range. And then the other question I kind of have is, do we have a more... Seems like a sort of very liberal stop loss for this upside plan. Yeah, there is something right around here. Not something. Support and resistance. That I like a little bit better. Limits our risk, which is key. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. So let's punch up our trade plan navigator levels. Let's see if I can get it right this time. Stop loss average down. Whoa. Fingers went crazy there. 49.66, 46.17, 43.90, 41.55, 39.11. Stop loss at 48.51. No shared stop loss on this one. What did I jack up there? Oh. I skip right over that or something? Put entry. Hang on, I'm all over the place here. No, 46.17. Man, screwed that all up. There we go. That looks better. No, that does not look better. Hang on. Let me figure out what I'm doing. Oh, I've got my Y offset off from a trade plan that was trading at a higher dollar. So that's what's got me all screwed up here. There we go. That looks better. All right. So let's dig into our hood trade plan. Here we go. Yeah, coffee is crucial, Tony. Absolutely crucial. And let's get this over in the elite chat. Whoops. Forgot to tag everyone. And let's grab our message link. Let's get that plugged in here. Whoops, that's Neptune. Wrong indicator. Boom. All right, so let's go ahead and set our template. Live stream plan 3. All right, and then last but not least, let's get these alerts set. Not sure if I did that already, but just in case. April 1st. Come on. All right, so what are we looking for here on hood? We are looking for a break over 51.15. That should give us targets at 54.28, 56.06, and 57.96 with a stop loss average down at 49.66. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 46.17. That should give us targets at 43.90, 41.55, and 39.11 with a stop loss average down at 48.51. Those are your hood live stream plans. Let's go. All right. Let's see what we had next on the list of ticker requests. Gold and what was the other one? BA. So let's take a look at both of these real quick. Probably only going to have time for one. Although I do already have, which should be fairly decent levels on Boeing, because we have done some plans on it recently. Chris coming in with the hot mic. It's all right, I got you. All right, let's close that. Let's move this fit retracement. We don't need these icons. Let's see if we can't knock this out real quick and maybe do gold as well. All right. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. Boeing, Boeing, Boeing. Hmm. Let's zoom out a little bit on this. Actually, let's zoom more than a little bit out. Do have this fib retracement level sitting up here that we seem to have really struggled with. Question is there an entry opportunity that takes us up to there? I think the answer is yes. I'm just a little bit nervous about these liquidity grabs that take place in this 183 up to 184.74 range. But if we wait for that to clear out, it kind of totally changes the perspective of this trade. So what does that do to our potential entry? Gives us a little bit more confirmation. All right, let's take a shot at this. Full disclosure, not in love with this call entry, but it looks pretty good. It's not the greatest setup I've ever seen, but it's the setup we have on Boeing right now. So let's stick to what the charts tell us. So over that comes the next question. I think we do have a level sitting right around here. Second target, third target. Yeah, I was kind of eyeballing this 191.62. Yeah, let's go ahead and it's kind of just stacked up resistance there. So I think it's smart to have kind of a rapid scale out plan up in that range. Just start booking profits one right after the next. Boom, boom, boom. Well, that's not a level. That's the pre-market price. Never mind. I am looking somewhere near there, though, as far as potential stop loss average down goes. Yeah, I mean, it's right at where this pre-market level is sitting, just coincidentally. So I like that as a stop loss average down. So where do puts? Yeah, below this. Oh, that's a fib. That's an old fib level. But I do like it. Maybe just a little bit below it, actually, for a put entry. Yeah, just a little bit lower. Maybe even right here. That looks pretty good. Could make a slight adjustment to this, set our stop loss right here. So targets. Yeah, I really do like this PT1 down there at 175.03. PT2, where you at? Probably sitting right there at about 173.48. PT3, obviously. actually use a little lower. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yep. So there's your third price target there at 170.84. So let's plug in the trade plan pilot. Let's see if I can get this one right this time. 717, 189.52, 191.62 with a stop loss average down at 181.85 to the downside. 178.22 on down to 175.03, 173.48, and 170.84. Stop loss at 179.83. There we go. That looks good. Let's hide these drawings for a sec. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so this is what our Boeing live stream plan looks like. Yeah, Chris, you came in with the hot mic, bro. It's all good. I muted you. I'll unmute you now. Just self-regulate from this point forward. All right, so let's go. Here's our Boeing live stream plan. Let's talk through it. Let me grab this link real quick before I forget. Plug that in here. Let's save our template. I'm going to actually create a new one. Remember, simple. Cool. All right, now let's get our alerts set. I keep doing that. All right, so what are we looking for here on Boeing? We are looking for a break above 183.93. That should give us targets at 187.17, 189.52, and 191.62 with a stop loss average down at 181.85. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 178.22. That should give us targets at 175.03, 173.48, and 170.84 with a stop loss average down at 179.83. Those are your Boeing live stream plans. All right, with that, we are getting pretty close to 15 minutes out from market open. I do want some time to work up this SPY plan this morning, so I think this is a good stopping point for us here this morning. Actually, let's just take a quick look. We had a request for gold flow. Let's see if we can give some quick insights on these. Gold looks good for upside. Neptune's catching it beautifully here, right around 277.11. As long as that's holding, I think this looks good to continue up. If we break below that, probably coming down to about 272 and some change. Let's see, and this is probably all-time highs, yeah, on gold. So I'd be looking for a test of all-time high and then potential new all-time highs as long as that 277, what did we say, 277.11, 277.15, somewhere in this neighborhood. As long as that's holding, this looks good for continuation to the upside. If it loses that, looks like a pullback coming. What was the other one? We did gold, ELF, oh, sorry, and flow and games, or flow. GameStop earnings are today. That's good to know. Although I think it's, I'm perpetually short on GameStop, but obviously that I'm not exposure short, but just my personal opinion of GameStop is it's a short no matter what. Obviously that would have crushed me back in the Roaring Kitty days, but actually was, I think, in puts at that time, like $1 puts, and GameStop was trading at like 5. So anyway, on ELF, this one, yeah, I mean, it definitely is in bear mode. looks like it could make a flip and try to push things a little bit higher over 65.61. If that breaks, yeah, I'd be looking up somewhere near this 333 SMA. There's also some support and resistance up in that level. So right around 68, also a psychological level. But if it's below that 65.61, I certainly would be looking for continuation to the downside. Pullback targets somewhere around 62.92, and then this pre-market low from last week there around 60.47. So just some quick takes for you all. Mark those levels down. Watch the replay if you need some help. Oh, flow. That's right. Sorry, Ryan. Almost forgot. Flow. What does flow do? I don't think I know this one. Flowers Foods. Bakery goods. Okay, that's interesting. Is this the starvation inflation play? Decent volume. Okay, so flow, not really making any kind of reliable trades, it looks like there during the extended hours trading. Let's see here. Yeah, flow looks like it's a good one to stay short on. As long as it's below 1893, that would be a good place to load shorts or puts if you haven't traded this one yet. But definitely looking bearish. That downside move will accelerate below 18 in my opinion, which it's testing here pre-market. So if you were to get in there, I mean, I think you're probably looking for new all-time lows would be my guess. Although this one, I don't know how far back it goes. Never mind. Take that back. But if that 18 level doesn't hold, yeah, you're probably looking around, 1740 to 1750. First downside target. Below that, it opens up a little bit more, probably another $1 a downside. So this one's definitely looking pretty bearish, especially if it breaks below 18. So that's a quick take for you there, Ryan. Yeah, it's not a bad tariffs play. All right, so with that, I want to thank you all for joining me this morning. I really do appreciate it. We will be back Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until then, I am JTW. This is your Xtrades FOMO live stream for Tuesday, March the 25th. I want to thank you all for joining me. As we always say here on these FOMO live streams, plan your trades, trade your plans, go out there and get some green, keep your wins big, keep your losses small. I will see you all in the chats. I will have the SPY plan out for you here shortly, and I wish you all a fantastic day. Take care. I will see you Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk to you soon.